Hi, it's Ed Kaminsky, and we're checking in Redondo Beach, California. And today we're sitting with local famous architect Doug Leach. Doug, I've known you a long time. You are designing my third personal home.
That's
so
true.
I must be coming back to you for a reason.
Wow.
Love your work. But I thought you have so many great ideas and thoughts as it relates to architecture and the changing landscape that we deal with here in Southern California that we would share a couple of those ideas with people that would like to listen.
That sounds great.
So how long have you actually been in the business as an architect?
I'm an old guy. So I started, I got my license in 1985, and then the very next year, 1986, I went out on my own. I was very fortunate. Those early years, I worked for a local architect, and he was transitioning from custom homes into more doing church work, actually. So the phone calls that he received way back then, he actually, for houses, he passed on to me.
That's great. So almost 30 years.
Yes.
This? 30 years.
Yes.
So if you had a specialty as it relates to architecture, do you have one?
Not really. I kind of think that one nice thing about my business is that we have not been really pigeonholed into a specific style. I like all the styles. As everybody knows, this coastal and realtors, I believe you guys call it beach plantation, is
right.
The coastal style is really taken off in Manhattan Beach. Palos Verdes still has primarily, Mediterranean, Spanish, colonial, and Italianate type houses, but other houses, other architecture as well.
Right.
But our business here, we like all these different styles.
Okay.
And I think they're all fun to work on. They all have their touches that are necessary and their details that are necessary to pull it off.
When someone looks at a property and they're deciding whether to redesign it, remodel it, add on, or tear down, I mean, what is your general recommendation in that situation?
When in doubt, you just tear it down because we don't do remodels. No, I'm just kidding. Frequently, I will say this, we don't do remodels, but that doesn't matter. I think that a lot of times people buy a house or they have a home they lived in a long time. If it's the latter of those scenarios, then it's difficult for people to wrap their head around their house being torn down, and they want to, they want to save this room, and maybe they just spent some money on a kitchen 5 years ago and all that. But many times when you make that decision, not always, but many times to save the existing house, you actually spend more money. You spend a lot more money trying to save walls than if you had started over. If you have only 8-foot tall ceilings, for example, that would be obviously inadequate. Not inadequate,
it's hard to remodel out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a height that would not be desirable for 2015. You'd want 9 or 10-foot tall ceilings, and once you decide, hey, my 8-foot ceiling is not tall enough, then the walls are coming down anyway. But there's a lot, there's tax implications, there's obviously budget considerations, so I guess my advice is you contact an architect, get that person out there, and with probably a general contractor as well, kind of team up with those two guys and evaluate everything. There's a lot to consider before you make that judgment call.
Those are great thoughts. When you're thinking about what to put into a new home and a new design, as it relates to getting the best bang for your buck, as they say, or return on value, what do you recommend buyers put in or home designers put into their homes today?
I would say probably number one right now is kitchen. Kitchen's a huge deal, as everybody knows. Kitchens are getting bigger. There's more appliances. There's things like wine coolers that are happening all the time in kitchens, warming drawers, ovens, as well as your commercial range. It's on and on, separate refrigerator, freezer, large pantries, all that. I mean, all that is money well spent, in my opinion. I think kitchens are probably the number one room and what most easily sells a house, and so it's just money well spent. I would say number two, and closely after that, would be the room that's off the kitchen, which the terminology now is a great room. I mean, you might call it a family room, but that room where the TV is, where the family's hanging out, where you're entertaining, with your guests and you're hanging out in that room, that's probably the second most important room. And usually those rooms are obviously adjacent to each other and open to each other, with typically an informal eating area, breakfast nook, something like that nearby. But after kitchen and great room, I would say the master bedroom suite would be number 3, and is very important as well. A good sized room, doesn't have to be enormous room, but it definitely, closets, as everybody knows, are getting bigger and bigger. Master bathrooms are getting bigger and bigger. When you look at a floor plan of a new house, typically the area of the master bath and the closet together is equal to or greater than the area of the bedroom itself. Yeah. So anyway, those 3 rooms are rooms where you can't go wrong spending money in, because they will definitely get a good return on your investment.
Now, maybe on the opposite end of the scale, when you think luxury, what elements do you think you're seeing requested or are fun additions? Maybe they're not returning the value per se, but what are people putting in homes today that fall in the luxury realm?
Well, I would say wine cellars come immediately to mind. I know wine cellars have been around for a long time, but they're getting to be almost a must now on a house that's, I don't know, I'll say over 5,000 square feet. A lot of people like to go into the wine cellar and have a little tasting area within that room. That's becoming more popular. You put a little table in there and some chairs. I did a house recently in Palos Verdes. It's a really fun project. It was a big house, 10,000 square feet, but they put a bowling alley in it. I mean, that's not normal. You almost put a bowling alley.
I did have one drawn.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So that's uncommon, obviously. These covered outdoor living spaces are becoming, I mean, that almost every house we do now has a covered outdoor living space.
I think that indoor-outdoor living is very popular right now.
Absolutely. So that's pretty much a must. I wouldn't even call that a luxury anymore. I would call that in the must department.
Certainly at the beach area in Southern California, maybe less in Palos Verdes, but maybe even around the country, I'm seeing a trend away from Mediterranean design and more towards the, as you put it, the coastal plantation or Cape Cod or that design. Do you agree that you're seeing that, and do you see that trend continuing?
I agree with the general statement for sure, particularly in the beach areas. I mean, up in Palos Verdes, you'll still see as I mentioned before, the Tuscan, the Spanish colonial, the Italianate is still popular up there. You come down here in the coastal areas, you see a lot more of the coastal, a lot more than Mediterranean, any kind of Mediterranean flavors.
What about globally? Have you noticed anything when you're paying attention?
I think the coastal style is really even obviously taken off in Florida. You look at the magazines from back east. You look at up Boston, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. You see those Cape Cod styles are obviously still flourishing there. I really I don't see as much just classic Mediterranean as you did 10 years ago.
So if someone's designing a brand new home, any general advice you would give somebody today?
I think that obviously you're acquiring the property first. So you're going to Ed Kaminsky, right?
Yes,
prefer acquire the property. But anyway, after you make that decision, this is a lot that you like, this is the area where you want to settle down, I think that I would call an architect and perhaps even a general contractor and get them out to the site as early as possible and have them look around. In Palos Verdes, there's a neighborhood compatibility component of the approval process. So when I go up to that city, I'm actually looking around the neighborhood first before I'm almost looking at the lot to see what views are going to be blocked and how might this design fit into that neighborhood. In Manhattan Beach, they don't have that process, or Hermosa Beach, but you do want to make sure that your view, that this lot that you bought is going to have a view, and will it be blocked in the future by anybody in front of it. So these view angles are obviously critical, and they should be ascertained pretty upfront, so that as a buyer you know that you're going to be having these views forever. But other things is you do the architect would do a code research for you. You're allowed 2 stories with a basement. Your height limit is 26 feet. It's going to be right here, probably going to be standing right here at the top floor. All those things that you don't want to be surprised about in the future. That a lot of that information can be really developed up front, which would
So
be
what
really important.
what I hear is a lot that goes into making these decisions, and don't make hasty ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and do your homework.
Yeah.
Just like anything, just do your homework.
Okay. Well, appreciate you sitting down with us today and answering the great questions. If someone wants to reach you, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Doug?
Oh, thank you. My email, probably, we could start with that, Douglas at djleach.com.
Okay.
And my phone number, 310-372-5580.
Okay, perfect. Or you can just reach me and I'll put you in touch with Doug.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
good. Thanks so much.
Ed. Thank you.
You got it. It's Ed Kaminsky from the Kaminsky Real Estate Group. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.